We could learn so much from images like this, how they are many different colors, shapes, and sizes, but they are all one family, one herd. Every man-made religious system in the world enslaves the hearts and minds of men with false teachings and false doctrines. Praise be to Yahuah, who's raised up his remnant in this day, the Qadashayam of Yashar'Al, to once again walk in the old ways, to understand the living word by the power of Ruach Hakodash. Come, join us as we walk in the way, the truth, and the life. Praise be to our King, Yahusha HaMashiach. All right. Greetings, everyone. How's everybody doing out there? Hope that all is well with you and yours. Just wanted to say, I don't know, don't you think maybe it's time to apologize? Maybe it's time to apologize to that friend or family member that you thought was crazy, that you called a conspiracy theorist. You really didn't take the time out to listen to. I mean, haven't you noticed in the past few years, they might actually just know what the heck they're talking about? Maybe it would be in your best interest even to have a relationship with them. I mean, if nothing else, you probably owe them an apology for treating them the way that you did, because you believed any number of things, right? That now we're seeing our lies. Any number of things that you were told in your education, or that you were told in television, or that you were told by the government agency, and you treated that person not so kind, not so loving. In fact, you kind of dreaded them being around. You probably dreaded them bringing up a topic that you just didn't want to hear or deal with. As a person labeled a conspiracy theorist many times and for many years now, I can tell you that they'll very gratefully accept your apology, and they're very used to people having a knee-jerk, closed-off reaction to them. So please don't think that it's beyond repair. So I guess that would be the first thing that I would want to say to you. Reach out to that person. I mean, even if they told you some really advanced things that you think are just absolutely not possible, you've already seen how a lot of the things that you thought were true are not true. And the thing is, like, if they're going to lie to you about those things, what else could they have lied to you about? you know? And what lies are they setting up to present to the world next? I mean, that's a big one, and that's part of the reason why it might be really, really wise to get that person back into your circle of influence, because those who are aware of the lies also are able to, well, they have an idea of some of the things that they might be planning next. And, you know, you don't want to be fooled again, right? You know, it's kind of crazy when you think about how bad the lies are and how widespread. And then anybody who's actually, you know, aware and paying attention and doing a little 2 plus 2 quick maths, I mean, they can see things clear as day, and they just want to tell you and love and warn you. And they were the ones who were attacked and mocked. And then a lot of people sadly went ahead and did the exact opposite of what they should have done, which I guess in a way is reaping what you sow. But and there's, you know, there's other people that will accept, maybe it's you accept a certain amount of conspiracies, then you kind of draw the line and you say, that's a bridge too far, I can't go that far. But again, look at who lied, how big the lies were, and ask yourself, what else could they be lying to me about? And why should I ever trust them again? Why should I ever trust them again? Because the answer is obvious. Instead of it being an institution or an entity, if it were an individual, you already would say, absolutely, I'm not trusting that person ever again. They've sought to bring harm to my own person, to my household, to my nation, to my land. And yet, because it's not an individual, and because it is a larger entity, maybe it's one that has a really big name, so you have to abbreviate it down a couple letters long. Naming any of those will probably cause this information to not be seen, heard, or known. Probably is already the case. But I mean, it's important to get it out there, and I hope that you are seeing and listening and understanding what I'm trying to say is, you know, not only just to do the right thing, but also moving forward to try to make sure you do the right thing. Go to that friend or family member that was labeled as a conspiracy theorist, a nut job, a wacko, whatever names you wanted to call them, or the world wanted to call them, and just apologize to them. I mean, just say, I'm sorry, you were right. I want to hear more about what you have to say about this or that, whatever it is. Think about that, what that will do, what kind of shalom that could bring into your life and their life, and even the world. Imagine if everyone did that. because we don't want to be right so bad that we want to rub it in your face. We don't want you to sit on your pride and your ego and be too, maybe even afraid, whatever reason, to just not admit it. You can't make it be true by continuing to make yourself align with something that's gone completely nutso, completely whack a doodle on every level, just on man, on every level. How much more crazy can it get? You know? And it is all literally, like they would say, on the verge of a war, if you want to talk geopolitical wars and nations. But it already is a war. It already has been a war. It already was a war for your mind and for your heart. An information war. And even now, the talking heads that lied and lied and lied and didn't retract what they said, but everyone knows that they were wrong, aren't issuing corrections and apologies. They're doubling and tripling down, telling you to avoid disinformation on the internet. Well, the only place you're going to get accurate information is face to face with one of these people that we're talking about, or on the internet, because you're not going to get it on the TV. And you got to ask yourself, why? Why not? Why do they not have it on there? You know, because there's two types of lies, right? That can come. There's either the direct telling you something that's false, or intentionally not telling you something that's true. Intentionally not telling you something that's true can be just as dangerous, deadly, whatever, does harm, tremendous amounts of harm. So I do hope and I do pray that you can find it in yourself to reach out to that person. You got to humble yourself a little bit. I know, I understand. But I really sincerely don't think that person is going to try and beat you up over it. I really and sincerely don't think that person is going to try to be like, they might say told you so. They're not entitled at least to say that once, as long as they don't overdo it. And I really hope that they wouldn't do that. I mean, that wouldn't be what I would want to try to do. I have people that I would like to be able to continue having conversations with, and letting them know, yeah, okay, not only those things that I used to try to tell you about were true and are true, but there's other things now too that I need to tell you about. And a lot of the things I just can't say on here, because if I just say those things on here, then they'll want to take the opportunity to share any information away from me. It's already happened a few times, so I'm a lot more careful about what I say. But I gotta tell you, the lies are so vast, and the cover-up is so real, pervasive, encompassing. I'm not sure everything that person would have told you, but I feel pretty confident to say, the most part, that was true. And at least, something that you should always like test and examine yourself. Because I think that what we need to start doing, and this goes for people in the truth community as well, or people that think they're woke, because there's two different kinds of things, right? There's somebody who's actually aware of what's going on, and there's someone who thinks they're woke because they're repeating what they're being told. And so I'll tell it to you like this. It doesn't have anything to do with personal identity, or I guess they call it identity politics. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't have to do with that. It literally is more like us and them kind of a thing across the board. A systematic thing. In fact, if I were to tell you where the conspiracy ultimately began, most people probably would not believe me. But a lot of people, even if they're not church-going people or whatever, at least understand and are aware that, there's a creator, or there's a creator story, however you want to word it, and there was a war in heaven, right? And there was one that was cast down to the earth, and with taking, let's say, a third of the angels. Well, that's the grand conspiracy right there. I used to say that to Christians all the time. How can you mock and scoff that person, call that person names, call them a conspiracy theorist, as if conspiracies aren't true and in your Bible? And for any secular person, I mean, you don't have to search very far to understand what it takes for a couple people to get together and make a plan to profit off of other people or to do harm to other people. That's not rocket science. That's something as old as man, right? So just to label everything outright that way, because the official story or official narrative tells you to, is a height of ignorance, because we got to test everything and examine everything. So at least get the information and look into it, especially now that you have seen how much lies there are. And like I said earlier, why would you continue to trust the people that have been lying to you? Why would you do? That's like Stockholm syndrome or something. I have to look that up, but I'm pretty sure it's something like that. Or making excuses for your abuser, right? Or your tyrannical ruler. Tyrannical rulers aren't anything new. Tyrannical kings, it's not anything new. And there isn't any reason that we should believe that we're somehow immune to that type of a sickness, illness, judgment, right? Why would we think it couldn't happen to us? I mean, that's also like a height of arrogance. That's a very prideful thing to say. But for other people who are testing things and looking into things, can we please get past the point of trusting the official narrative on anything? If we already know that, I'll just say they, right? We already know that they lie. We'll say, who is they? Take your pick now. Take your pick nowadays. Who didn't? Who didn't lie? About everything that we've been going through the past couple of years. Trust me, this isn't a political thing, because they're both sides are completely full of lies. That's my point. It isn't like go out and find the right book. It's questioning the fact that that book is even published at all, right? And why is it? Why is that allowed to come out? I mean, we all know what gatekeepers are, right? And so, there's this gatekeeper and that gatekeeper, but that's it. There aren't any other ones. They don't. It doesn't permeate all levels. That's silly. Of course it does. Of course it does. And a lot of the stuff that you think is a conflict, these two things are opposed to one another, is theater, is stage. The whole world is a stage this way. Just like wrestlers, and they got a script and there's a plan, and they go out and they execute their plan, and they put on a show, and some people love this side and some people love that side, but at the end they go back into the locker room and drink a beer and say, we put on a heck of a show out there tonight. So maybe we should, too, stop trusting all that stuff. You know, they used to say trust but verify. Now I would say kind of the opposite. Still verify, but don't trust, and then verify the information. You know, isn't that ultimately what it is to test all things? Anyway, I hope that you listen. I hope that you reach out to that friend or family member that in love was trying to warn you of things, even if they got a little unloving with their speech. You're talking about having a hold of information that is so critical, vital, important, that it's like can be a little bit overwhelming for a person, especially if they're kind of new to it. And then they go to communicate it, and it's like they want you to receive this message so badly. There's so much passion that they can become overcome with emotion. So consider even to forgive them if they were hyperbolic in their speech. Maybe they were even rude because you rejected it. What they believed was the truth, and all they wanted you to do was listen or test it. So consider that, please. I think we could do great things in families, in communities, in states, and in nations, and thus in the world, if we would really consider doing that to one another. Because some of the ones who are pretending to be for you and have your best interests at heart are really wolves in sheep's clothing, and so they're wearing masks and they're not being real. They're not being real. They're telling people what they want to hear because there is a script and a plan and an agenda, and it actually goes all the way back to the cosmic rebellion. And even if you don't believe that, I'm sure you can agree and believe that they're as old as man himself. So please consider doing that. I hope that you do. Much love to you and yours. Shalom, shalom. By the power and will of Yahuah, Yahusha, the Messiah, the Savior, the one who we love him because he first loved us, right? Because while we were yet enemies at enmity with the Most High, he humbled himself. He took on flesh. He took on the role of a servant. He lived a perfect, righteous, or Qadash life. He willingly laid his life down. No one took it from him. He bore our iniquities on his body. He was crucified on a stake. He was in the tomb 3 days, and he rose again, right? In power, in sovereignty, in majesty, in all esteem. All esteem Yahusha. Yahusha comes in the name of the Father, Yahuah. Baruk is he who comes in the name of the Most High, Adonai, Yahuah. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment and let us know how we can pray for you. Shalom.